Hey everybody, welcome to the Blue Collar Angst podcast, where we dive deep into the realm of any and really everything blue collar. We're going to take a look at a wide range of trades and careers that range from welders and electricians to police officers and everything in between. The guests we bring on the show, the listeners, really essentially you, are the fuel that keep this whole thing going. With that being said, please enjoy, and as always, like, subscribe, follow, do whatever it is that you do to stay up to date so that you don't miss a thing. Thanks. Enjoy the show. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Blue Collar Angst. Really happy to have Mike Ewing on with us again. We're going to talk about something pretty special, something that he started, an idea that's kind of blossomed into something really special. I'm lucky enough to, he texted me the other day and said, "Hey man, could you help me get this out there, help spread the word?" And that's really today's episode, what it's all about. And that's what we're going to ask all of you listeners in return, is to spread the word. It's called Mike's Birthday Back to School Giveaway. And he's reached out to a lot of different companies all over, the United States. And the response that he's had has been awesome. So if you guys haven't listened to episode 14, we'll have Mike just kind of give us an introduction of himself, and you guys are in for a real treat. Everybody on social media and different texts that I've gotten have always loved the content that Mike's putting out. So I guess with that being said, how are you doing, man?
Man, doing actually really good. Just excited about being able to help some, as far as being on the platform of Instagram. It just really started as like a spur off from what I do on Boom Nation. And that's just to give like helpful stuff and things that I've experienced in the field. And as I've watched, just the content that's on Instagram from, as my kids call them, influencers, in the welding field primarily, because that's where in construction and welding, that's where all my focus is really. I see a lot of giveaways and a lot of stuff, and a lot of the stuff that I use, and a lot of stuff that it's really just top of the line cool stuff. And as I was looking at these giveaways, I'm like, and I'm not saying nobody has done it. I'm just saying that I felt like it needed to be done. And my birthday is always falling on the starting of school. So I said, you know what? I says, why don't we get together and see what I can do to help a kid or two that's going back to high school, that's taking shop ag class, because I talked to several ag teachers, and from past experience from my own from going to school, that we didn't have a lot. We didn't have a lot of equipment, a lot of a lot of stuff. Our hoods were like ancient trash, which I'm not knocking that. I'm not knocking that, because if you go to Harbor Freight or you go to Tractor Supply and you buy a hood and it works and you're able to use it, that's a functioning piece of equipment. That's not what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is that we could do better. If somebody has adequate tools, they can do their job better. And you put that mindset to a youngster that's learning, not just learning anything, learning a trade, learning to be a well-functioning part of society. It not only makes them better, but it makes the culture better, because they have that, they have that motivation and that drive and that desire already. So when you give them something that's like, wow, you're only fanning the flames of them to be better, to escalate. And so that's where this really just birthed out of, is the actual need to say, hey, what about the shop students? What about the ag students? And, when Tyler Sassy and Western Welding Academy did that blue collar tour, that really got my juices to flowing, and me thinking, it's like, man, they're touring all these shop classes, all these ag classes, all these kids that want to be welders, that are actually putting in the work. They're in their grandpa's shop, after school, burning rods, trying to, running cutting torch, stuff like that, watching their dads, watching their moms or whomever, just like I did, It really inspired me to just, do something with the time and the platform that's been given me, do something productive with it instead of, just something entertaining, because I heard a great quote And, I know how you are about quotes. I heard a great quote. It said, our future is right now. Our future is our present. It's right now. Our future is our present. Right now, we're looking at the future. Right now, as we look in these schools, and really, I just got to looking and I got to thinking, on the other spectrum of it is how much money schools put into sporting events. Basketball, football, baseball, tennis, soccer, anything to do with athletics. They're full board because, quite frankly, that's where all the money comes from. But where I'm from, this little small town of nowhere, Mississippi, uh, and I'm speaking from experience. I'm not knocking anybody. I'm just saying the facts. And, you just look at it and see what you see. You go into any field house at any high school across this nation, and they'll have the best of everything that the boosters can actually put in that field house for those kids to do the best they can be, because everybody wants a state champion, right? But then you go and you look at the ag shop, you look at the vocational shop, and you see what they're using tools from the '60s. They're using tools from they're using equipment that's still functional, but really outdated compared to what they could have. And that's really where my mentality is. If we really want to invest in the future, we should start in the places that are so obscure that nobody talks about in the school platform. It's second nature. And here's a statistical fact, because I've lived it. The school I came out of, the majority of people were athletes. They went to school. There weren't many NFL contracts signed. There weren't many NBA contracts signed. There weren't many Major League Baseball contracts signed. And so on and so on. Not to say that these kids didn't have the drive and desire to want to, but the kids that actually had the drive and desire to learn to weld, learn to fabricate, learn to build, learn to in automotives and whatnot. Guess what? The majority of kids that graduated my graduating class wound up being blue collar, came back to the trades, came back home, came back to doing what they could have been more well equipped while we were in school. And that's the kind of focus that I'm looking at. This is really getting swept under the rug, and there's not a lot of people looking at it. I mean, why? Why not? I mean, and that's when I started reaching out to these vendors, because, quite frankly, I'm going to say a vast majority of their followers on Instagram and these other platforms are high school kids that aspire to be like some of these. I mean, these awesome welders that you see, man, it's just getting the money shots there on Instagram. Say, hey, I want to do that, and they go to shop and they try to imitate it. So that led me to reach out to Tyler Sassy at Western Welding Academy and my good friends over at Boom Nation, because with these kids being in class, in shop, like myself, you're faced with a fork in the road after you leave high school. What do? You're either going to continue your education or you're going to enter the field. And that's where I was thinking of Western Welding Academy, because that's the one that's really putting a lot of content out there. I'm not saying better, worse, better, worse. I'm just saying, hey, there's a starting point. There's a starting point. And he's the one that actually responded. So you're either going to go to college or you're going to go to the field. That's where, like I said, Western Welding Academy comes in, or Boom Nation, where it says, here's the jobs. Here's the career you're looking for. Here's everything you need in a nutshell. Here you go. And it's amazing. And both of them responded very greatly. And they're sending, as I've already gotten back from Western Welding Academy. I'm waiting on, Boom Nation and various other vendors. But I wanted that name, that that brand, that logo in school while they're in school. I don't care if you're a junior. I don't care if you're a freshman. I don't care if you're a senior. You're sitting there and you've got that on your mind. You're staying focused. You're like, hey, I've got a choice to make when I get out of high school. What am I going to do? Which direction am I going to take? And, maybe this will help, send somebody where they need to go, instead of just saying, you know what, forget this. I don't even have a welding cap. I had one kid reach out to me and said, Mike, and he said, we don't even have welding caps, and it's just, they're just the little things like that. Little things like that really change everything. It's like, wow, somebody not anything somebody cares. These vendors care because they're the ones that, man, I'm just facilitating this, but these vendors are the ones that have stepped up and said, hey, because one thing I said, and it reminds me a lot of Matthew McConaughey's closing argument in A Time to Kill. And that's what I try to put out there. What I'm trying to facilitate here is just imagine what if it was your kid, because I grew up poor. I grew up extremely poor. And there was many days I really didn't want to go to school because I got made fun of because of what I had on, what I wore. And I've heard some of these shop teachers, they say the same thing that, when they come in, the kids come in, they want to, but they're kind of like reserved because they don't have anything, and the one of the main driving forces behind them being in that shop is well, when I get out of high school or, I can get a welding job, I can help mom, my single mom pay the light bill. I can help dad pay the mortgage, and that's really the motivation behind that is to help these kids be the best them they can be, and if if we can do that, then the ripple effect of an act of kindness, it reaches far, and the repercussions are you can change lives with things like this, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you can literally change lives with like stuff like this.
Dude, it's so cool. Just talking to you, me and Mike talked a few days ago, and I feel like every time we talk, I wish we could record that and put that out there. I thought that about this episode, and you said something about talking to these shop teachers and kids that are too embarrassed to go to shop just because they don't have something simple like work boots. And I thought about my growing up, and I never thought once, man, I don't have a pair of boots, Not that I had a bunch, but I always had at least a pair of boots and a few, good pairs of shoes. And it made me think back to I had a kid in school, and his dad worked for UPS, and he just wore simple stuff: white T-shirt, blue jeans, and some shoes. And just how mean kids were to him. I remember this one kid said, "Man, my shoes cost more than your whole outfit." And I'd see his dad running these routes all around, the neighborhoods, and working his butt off in the heat, out there sweating, they're working. But that's always stuck out to me. And it made me, you just got a little emotional talking about, hey, I can help my mom pay the light bills, or I could, the electric bill, I can help my dad pay the mortgage. And, when you told me that story about talking with some shop teachers and, hey, kids are too embarrassed to go because of boots, that just resonated with me because, man, how sad is that we got kids that are not going to take those opportunities to go to shop class or even attempt to go talk to the teacher because they know I don't have what I need. And I think that's what's so special, man, about you coming on like this and reaching out. You mentioned Western Welding Academy, and I see a lot of different platforms, and it's not about who's better, who's worse. Anybody spreading the message is worthwhile. But to see Western Welding Academy, they put a video out yesterday, and it was about simple things, right? Like, what's the best grinding disc? What's the best, how to read a gauge on your torch, And it's just the little things like that. And they, like I said, not better or worse, but if you talk about standard, they're up here setting the bar high, putting videos out and reaching that younger generation, which is awesome. But I guess going forward from that, man, what gave you this idea to really, you got Western Welding Academy, you Boom Nation's huge, the reach that they have and the content that they put out. You want to talk about a couple other vendors that you have? I know Outlaw Leather was one that you sent me a few hoods that looked pretty dang cool.
Well, right now, I live on my welding bucket. There's a sticker on there that my wife, she made it for me, and it says full send. You're either going, you do it all or nothing, because that's the way I live. That's the way I work, is that I'm not gray cloud. It's either sun shining or it's pitch midnight. And so I started reaching out to these vendors. I said, well, why not ask them? Why not ask them? Why not ask them? And John Miles, Knox FR, he just got back from the Philippines on vacation. A good friend of mine, a great brother. And we were sitting there talking. I was telling him about, what all was going on and he just got. I was on the phone with him, and dude, he just got like super emotional about it, and he said, "Mike," he said, "let's make this big." And John's not a mediocre bullcrappy kind of guy. He's blue collar from the core, and dude, yeah, and it was just like I said, all right, let's do this. Who have I not reached out to? Who have I not reached out to? And all they can do is say no, and I don't ask what are you sending. I've made very few specific requests, trying to really itemize, so it'll be efficient, not just say getting something, but take something that, 1, 2, 3, 4. And because in my mindset, I want to have a couple of kids to be able to put everything together in a bucket and have everything they need from this giveaway and go to a job, go to work. That's simple. Have it be equipped, have enough stuff that they can just go to work and make a paycheck or go to shop class and look really cool while they're learning, But yeah, there's 23 vendors. We've got, and I don't want to leave anybody out because this isn't the formal announcement. This is, you know what I'm saying? Because I got something really special for that also because I'm waiting on everything to get in so that everybody can, like you and I talked about, to see, they can see what's being offered and the generosity of these companies. That's what's really overwhelming. God's an awesome God, and when you pray in in faith and believe that He'll open the windows, dude, it's amazing how He's moved on people's heart to say, yeah, I want to be involved in this and to give in abundance. I believe that. Some of the vendors are CMR Fabrication, Knox FR, Welder Made Headbands, Vintage View Welding Lenses, Welders Republic, Field Scum Clothing, Rod Shield, Welding Caps by Lori, Sawyer Manufacturing Company, SSP Weld, my good friend Tierra Oso, Pancakes Welding Mask, Pancakes, early, Poncho's Welding Mask, Outlaw Leather, Pipeliners Cloud, Pipeliners Legit, Snake Belly USA, Chain Clips, Western Welding Academy, Boom Nation, Fresh Welder Bandanas, Benchmark Abrasives, Goliath Gloves, and Strong Hand Tools. Just to name some.
Dude, it's so cool. Like you said, like just every time, not every time, but you've been sending me texts and pictures of some of the gear that's coming in. And one thing that you said, and I want to just emphasize on this episode, you were talking about, how to enter and the entries. And you said, dude, it's nothing about the following or the clout. It's all about these kids. And when you said that, it's real, right? It's like you talked about, we talked about in your episode 14, where it's like you could tell when somebody's being genuine. And that's the thing that I think is so cool. I mean, I see a lot of people and it's awesome. They do giveaways for their birthday. Like you could do a fundraiser on Facebook or Instagram, whatever. Those are awesome. There's a lot of good causes. But I think what's cool in particular about yours is that you've reached out to some heavy hitters in the industries, right? And they're responding, and it's starting this conversation of, hey, maybe they don't need the brand new people out in the South are going to be like, this is heresy, but maybe we don't need, the most fancy equipment out there in the field house, right? Maybe they can look at different options for funding, right? For the shop class or the ag class. And that's something that we talked about on the phone the other day. And, just starting that conversation, man, and having this big flow of support for me to see you do this. It really makes, it's profound. I don't know what else to say about it. It makes me feel like, man, we talk about all the time, right? The whole purpose of this podcast or what you're doing, the content that you produce is to help the next generation, right? To help bring them up. And you're doing it, man. And you're using your voice, and it's humbling to see.
Oh, well, realistically, we have an opportunity, with this platform or any other platform where you gain, people's attention. What are you showing them? Are you showing them the real you? Are you showing them a counterfeit copy of what you want them to think you are? Or because at the end of the day, you're making an impact on somebody that's watching you, and what are you allowing them to see? Is it fundamentally good, morally good, or is it just nonsense? What are you actually feeding the people that are watching you? And that's really, to me, is really important, because your witness says a lot about everything about who you are as a person, who you are when nobody's looking. Who you are, and it's not nothing about me. People have told me, you're a good person. There's nothing good inside of me except Christ. That's it. That's it. Because I know the rotten person I could be if I allowed myself to be that. And the generosity that, this is nothing more than what has been done for my kids a long time ago. That one event. Whew, man, I can't even get into detail about it, but it just blew my mind how a community came together and helped my kids. It sent shockwaves through my soul that, they didn't have to do that at all. They made themselves get involved. They made themselves get involved. And people say, well, I'm just one person. What can I do? In the early 60s, there was a woman named Madeline O'Hare. Her one voice changed the fabric of this nation. Her one voice stood up in the legislature and changed laws. She spoke, and the repercussions of it were unbelievable. So yeah, I heard somebody say this the other day. Said, I'm nobody. I'm nobody. I said, no, bro. I said, everybody's somebody. And that's like I said. After the giveaway, I'm cool with everybody that just followed me to get on, to get in the giveaway, to unfollow me, whatever. That's it's not going to toast my bread at the end of the day. That's fine. Hey, long as you got in and got an opportunity to, be in this giveaway, that's all I care about. And what you gain from it, what you walk away from it, not just the gear, but what you walk away from it. That somebody actually cares.
Before we lose track of that, you brought it up a little bit, and I know this because we talked about this a little bit. You put this out. I think you put it out on Instagram. Talk a little bit. I forget her name. Madeline. What was her name? Madeline.
Fair. Yeah.
Yeah. Talk about that, man. It's people. It doesn't have to be like a religious thing, right? Like everybody has their own opinion, but this story, kind of like you're saying right now, Mike, like the power of one person to make a difference for good or better, right? So kind of tell that story to listeners. I didn't know that until you'd said something about it.
Yeah. Well, Madeline O'Hare, I don't remember the date per se, but she was an atheist, and she didn't agree with prayer in school at all. I can remember. I can remember. Here in country town USA, we still got up and did devotional at school and had prayer, in spite of that. But the fact that she stood up and said, no, I don't want prayer in school. And the nation listened to her and said, okay, just one person's opinion, the power of that one voice, just was unreal. And, that's the effect of what people need, that whether, I don't know where where everybody's faith is that listens. And I'm not talking about beliefs, because I can believe in anything. I can believe this phone will last for the rest of the day, but I know how I get on it, and I know the battery will go down probably before lunch. So, but faith is trusting in that, and we have a problem of trusting in what we're here for, because a lot of us don't even know. And really, that's what I want to, it's not a motivational empowerment speech. It's just figuring out who you are, why our Father in heaven has placed you here, because, you're going to influence people that you don't even know that you're influencing. You're just how you live. People are watching it to see genuineness, to see realness, to see authenticity coming from, not what you say, but what you do. The actions behind your words of who you are. That's the power of your voice. It's when you put action behind what you say and you're consistent with that can move mountains. that can move obstacles out of your way that is just seems, unachievable. And it's not just the power of what we can do ourselves. It's when we understand who we are, and then we stand in that. And that's just what I'm doing. It's just if I have an opportunity to speak and somebody will listen, and I can give them something that will help them, then it's my duty, my obligation to do that. No matter the gas station or if it's at work or wherever it's at. I mean, it's a duty to do that. And if I say that I'm a follower of Christ, then the kindness, the generosity, the everything that he was, I should be doing. And this is just an extension of that, because I don't know these kids. I don't have to know these kids. All I know is they're kids, and what if they were mine? That's love. That's, to me, that's love. And love is an action word. It's an outpouring of what's really inside of you. It's like, I know you got something really important to go take care of here in a little bit, and brother, know that we'll be praying for you and your wife and your baby, because that's a wonderful thing, and because I've been through it twice with my wife. But see, that's just the thing, because I care. And it's like I said, it's not about me. It's what I want people to see that's inside of me. That's the important thing. Everything else is just is insignificant. It doesn't matter. It's what you take away in here from what we do out here. That's what makes a person who they are. It doesn't matter what you put on. Don't matter, who you promote. Doesn't matter where you work. It doesn't matter what you drive. It's who you are in the midst of it all. Who you are.
I appreciate it. First off, the prayers. I appreciate you coming on. I mean, I texted Mike last night. We talked a little bit earlier in the week. My wife's going in to get induced on Sunday. It's Saturday morning, 6 a.m. Woke up early to make this happen. I appreciate that, man. I really do. That says a lot about you. One thing I was going to say, though, when you're talking, it kind of brings back I had a teacher in high school, and his name was Mr. McKinney. I don't even know his first name still, just Mr. But this teacher, he taught, a social studies class and sociology. And I just remember one thing that he always had written on his board, and it was just 3 words. And he just said, ideas have consequences. And I remember looking at that, and he didn't explain it right when we walked in at the first of the semester, and ideas have consequences. And those are the things that you're talking about, man, that all these ideas can come our way. We can have all these different things, just like that lady. I keep forgetting her name. I think it was Madeline, right? That idea that she had, you could call it positive or negative. I've seen it, right? And just like you have, look at what that's done the last 60 years. But those consequences that we have, just like these kids, man, going to a shop class having that idea of, man, I don't even have work boots. I'm going to look dumb. And because those are thoughts that kids have, right? I don't have a measuring tape.
They're powerful.
They're powerful, man. So it's so important, I think, to remember, especially growing up. There's so much, especially on social media. That's why I love your content, Western Welding Academy, Boom Nation. There's so many people out there that are pushing this message of like, hey, there's so many different voices out in the background that are going to put these different ideas in your head of what you should be, what you should do, what college you should go to. But you just got to think about what kind of consequences it's going to have on my life if I put this idea into my memory and just keep it there. So
mine, I'd like to show, I don't have everything, all the vendors. I mean, I just started getting packages like Thursday, and it's been like every day. But to give the viewing audience an idea, just like this, Sawyer Manufacturer, they produce a ton of really awesome tools, 5 hats, just 5 hats. Okay. Hats are cool. Hats, man, I'm a hat junkie. But here, there's like send 5 of everything, on your truck, your bucket. Hey, sticker packs made, Sawyer made in USA. But this is what really got me. This got me excited. People say people can look at it and don't understand what it is. But when I saw these, that right there, that is a pipe fitter's handbook. That is information. That's the most powerful tool you can equip anybody with, is information. And this, it goes in your pack, out your box, your bag, whatever. It tells you everything. It gives you math equations. It gives you everything you need to know to be a pipe fitter, because not everybody's going to be a welder. And some people are going to be a fitter and a welder. I have to do that myself, and this stuff right here is invaluable. Then they got a pipe tape, pipe tape measures. Then, just like that kid said before he even said it, and I was excited, really excited. There's 10 gift certificates from Welding Caps by Lori. She's like, and she told me, and I was like, and because at the beginning I was thinking, the obscurity of what I'm doing, for me to say, I'm just one guy. I'm thinking, what can, really, it's really changing me in the process, because I was thinking I'm just one guy. What I'm thinking, one kid. If I just have one kid, that's an awesome goal. Because I'm not like these other guys. I don't have, I'm not even. I'm just a dude that reached out to people and they responded. That's it. I'm not going through any corporation or anything like that. It's just I had an idea and I ran with it. And what she said was powerful. I was like, 10? I said, that's a lot. She said, Mike, they're going to need more than one welding cap. And I'm like, all right. Then we have this really cool piece right here. This is a custom made welding mask by Poncho's Welding Mask. And he and I were talking. I said, you're going to laugh at what I do, what I used to do. Some really cool stickers. I would take welding goggles and a bandana. He said, dude, that's where this came from. That's what he did too. So, chain clips, just a few of these chain clips. That's for your gloves. That's awesome. That's all hand did. Each link is hand done. He's an artist. And put those out there. Blue Collar Revolution shades. We got Western Welding beanie, Western Welding Academy hats. They hooked it up. It's kind of like becoming a competition. Who can give the most now? Welding gloves. A really cool backpack. There's about 3 or 4 keychains in there. Just for the sake of time here. Shirts and just really cool stuff that Tyler sent. And then we have Outlaw Leather sent 3 custom chopped welding hoods, and each one of them different. They could have sent just some plain Jane, but they sent one of their nicest hoods.
Yeah.
And then this royal blue.
It's awesome, dude. It looks so good.
I meant to tell you, Poncho's Welding Mask not only sent a welding mask, but he equipped it with an auto lens in that eye box. Now this eye box slides off. Now when you're TIG welding, a lot of times you don't want to use that because it flickers, and that's to get into really tight spots where a standard welding hood won't go. He also sent another quick change eye box, so you don't have to fool your lenses. You just slide that eye box off, and you got a fixed shade that you can actually weld with without having to change everything out. I thought that was awesome. That's where we are so far. We've got a lot more people to send packages and respond. But the outpouring of generosity is overwhelming. It just really hammers home the power of prayer and believing when you pray that God bless the work of my hands and allow me to be an example for you. I don't care if anybody sees me, as long as they can see who dwells inside of me, as long as they can see the Christ in me. That's all I care about. And wherever your faith is, wherever your moral compass is, like you said, that idea, that's the genuineness of love. It's the genuineness of love. And if I walk in the love of Christ, then I have to be an ambassador for that. And that's what this is. It's all about him inside of me.
Yeah.
And just doing.
So if you're a high school kid and you're listening to this, or, you hear this and you're like, oh, there's this giveaway. There's all these companies. I know so-and-so that would be a great fit, right? How do they get entered? Kind of walk the audience through like how to share this and how to enter, just so we can get as many people on board as possible.
They just like and follow me, right, and they're gonna comment. They're gonna comment on the original post. When I do when I said the formal announcement is that's the post that everybody is going to comment on, and you're going to have to, when you like and follow me, you have to follow every one of these vendors. They deserve your attention because they freely gave. If you like and follow them, and then you follow me on Instagram, and then I'm shooting for August the 16th, but it depends on how long it takes for everything to come in, and that's the luxury of time being on my side, so I can push that date back. So I want every kid that I can possibly get in this giveaway to have an opportunity. And once we do the formal, then I can set a date. I want at least a 2-week window so that everybody has an opportunity to share, follow, and get in on this. And then on that date, I will go live, and I will hit the random generator, and it will randomly pick each winner. Because at first I was thinking of only one kid. Right now, with what I've got, there's at least 8 kids that is going to be hooked up royally. Just follow my Instagram page and keep your ears open. Anything that deals with the giveaway that I share, and I'm trying to share a lot about that. This video, this podcast, share this podcast. Get it out there. Get it on the airwaves, and follow Blue Collar Angst. You have to, because even though you don't understand, you're part of the giveaway, brother. You are part of the giveaway because you're giving your time and your platform to share this. That is a commodity. So this is your contribution to the giveaway, believe it or not. So you have to follow Blue Collar Angst. If you don't follow Blue Collar Angst, you don't get in. And you have to be in high school. You have to be in high school. Please, this is strictly for the kids. And if you're not in high school, please don't try to slide in through the back door or anything. Integrity is everything. And let this be for the kids.
Dude, I think, like you said, keeping your ears open. First step, if you guys are listening to this episode, go follow Mike. Go follow Mike Ewing. I will post, when I post this episode, if you look in my bio, and then if you look in the episode description, I'll have a link for his Instagram page. But very responsive. He gives a ton of information on his page, and it's cool. Yeah, Tierra Oso, you mentioned earlier, being part of this giveaway. Some of the stuff that they're providing, which is awesome, right? Like he's actually making me a sign, some stickers that I'm going to send your way, and hopefully some more cool stuff. But something that Rich said on his episode, Rich Sanchez, he said, people at the top, they collaborate, and people at the bottom, they compete. And that's what's so cool to see these different companies, they're at the top because they're sitting here collaborating, and you're sitting here collaborating. And if anybody's listening and they don't know how to, the official rules, the original post, shoot Mike a message, shoot me a message, and, we'll make sure to get this out there so that you guys can get entered. And like Mike said too, make sure it's a high school kid, right? And if you know somebody, this could get shared like crazy. And I hope it does, because the more kids that put in, the better. It's already big. And just to see the response you're getting, man, I would love to see this go, across the nation like it already has, but even bigger, not just 1 or 2 kids per state, but getting 5, 10, 20, 100, 200 kids a state. There's a lot of high school kids out there that need support. There's a lot of kids out there right now. They have all these different directions they're going, right? And they're getting told this and that on social media. But, this is, in my opinion, this is something pushing these kids in the right direction. So, is there anything else that you want to say, man? I always ask at the end of the podcast episodes, I always say, hey, it's one thing you've learned. But, I guess just what I wanted to ask you, I was thinking last night, this was a last minute call kind of thing. Like, hey, I wanted to get this out before, baby comes and life gets busier. I was thinking about a question to ask you, though. And the question I kind of came up with was, is there one thing that you want to tell the one high school kid that's listening that thinks, I don't think I have a shot at this, man. Like, what's something that you would tell that kid that wants to put in this giveaway or just wants to go to shop class and doesn't feel like he's good enough? What's something that you would tell that kid?
It's real simple. It's what an old mentor of mine told me years ago. Uh, Wisdom is knowledge applied. And, if you can gain a lot of knowledge, but if you never apply it, if you never push past your I can'ts, you cannot, you can't, you'll never have that wisdom. It's when you apply that knowledge that you accumulate. And don't believe those lies that you see in the mirror that you're not, you're not the best. Everybody's a work in progress. You got to know that everybody's a work in progress. And the main thing is that be genuine. Be genuine. Be who you are. Don't try to imitate or copy somebody else, because I'm telling you right now, it's not going to work. It's not going to give you any satisfaction at all. If you stay true to yourself, then you'll find what you're looking for, and that's really Christ. Christ is first and foremost. It's like I said, that's my lead, that's my head, that's my guide, and that's the main thing. That's the real thing. Is that you'll know, that's that contentment that you're going to find. And I wish somebody had told me that years ago. And I would have, I'd have probably been a lot better person.
I just wanted to close, man. I agree 100%. And, Western Welding Academy shared this post and I put it on my story. It was one of their instructors, Ronald Mall. And it's just a quote that he has, which I love. And it makes me think about what you're doing and in your passion in life. And it just says, so it's Ronald Mall, Western Welding Academy. He says, if you have a craft, have a trade, and don't pass it on, there's no point in having it. And that right there is simple, profound, and that's exactly what you're doing, man. And I appreciate it. I'm proud to call you my friend and to text you as much as we do, and and just be able to collaborate with you, man. It's so humbling, and words can't express how grateful I am to be a part of this, be a part of knowing you, and this collaborative effort that so many people are putting on. I feel like the world stands on the shoulders of great men and women, right? And it takes courage to stand in that line and have all the pressure on you. And, you're going to take heat from different things, but just like that, talking about your faith in 2023, that might not be a popular opinion, dude, but it's cool to see that courage,
It wouldn't popular back then either. So
yeah, it's not a popular thing, but especially now,
No.
So, with that being said, I really appreciate it, man. I like anybody listening that wants to know more, please go follow him, go follow Mike Ewing, and look at the original post. And, this is the start of something great. Me and Mike talked about some big picture stuff on the phone, and it literally it got me pretty excited to just think about his headspace and collaborate that this giveaway has the response it's getting. So high school kids, don't think that you're not going to, be picked. This is going to be, it's genuine from the start, and it's going to be like that at the finish when you guys get your stuff. So I appreciate you, Mike. And please, like I said, go follow and comment, and you guys follow all those rules. And if you have questions, reach out. And there's a lot of people out there that even if you don't have a kid in high school, you probably have a niece or a nephew, or you have a neighbor that has a son or daughter in high school. Reach out to them, share this with them, and let's spread this message.
Yes, sir. Hey, I want to close. I want to end with something. I want to tell you something personally right here. I was always told you give people flowers while they're alive. Dude, what you're doing with this podcast, you may not understand, or even just like you're just doing it. You may feel discouraged, and I'm just openly saying this, and I want it to be heard. You do not know the amount of people that you're positively impacting with this podcast of your dream, your vision, your goal. And, we all get discouraged from time to time, but I just want you to know it's not about how many people you bring on and the names that you bring on. It's the fact that you're bringing realness to, on the airwaves, that people can see, hey, I can, that hits home. That hits home to me, and the fact that the positivity that you're producing out there, that it's tangible, it's real about, our everyday life. I mean, it's real, and it's not obscure. It's really exciting. It's just to see, and I'm just honored to be your friend and be on this platform, because uh, I'm just an old country boy out here in middle of nowhere. But the fact that we can come together and positively make uh, positive changes in people's lives, that's what we've been put here for. And you're doing a great job at it. And I want you to keep it up and be encouraged and know that you got people on your side for real.
Dude, I appreciate it, man. I told Mike this on the phone the other day. We talked for, I don't even know how long it was. I don't even know how long we've been talking right now, but because we can just go on and on. And I'm sure my wife and your wife can attest to that. But,
Yeah.
one thing I think is really cool is we talked about a kid that I had talked to, having Tyler Sassy, Mike Ewing, all these different, Tierra Oso, the people coming up in the schedule. And as humbling as it is to have these big businesses or in my mind, giants of the blue collar world, it's humbling to have those names on there. I don't feel like I've ever been more excited than I had a conversation with a younger kid that was 21, and he was stoked to come on the podcast. Right? He's like, "Yeah, dude, I'd love that." And then at the end of the conversation, he had just said, "Man, I'm just a kid. I'm just 21. Like I'm just a young kid, and I don't have much to offer." And talking with him and sharing my perspective back, like, dude, I'm just like you. We are all the same, and everybody has a story. It's something I said with Tyler Sassy's episode, man. Everybody has something special to offer, and that's something that I just wanted to put on a closing note for this episode, man. Is these kids thinking about it. There's a lot of emotion. There's a lot of realness going behind this effort that Mike's doing, and everybody has a potential, and everybody has so much self-worth in them. And there's things that are telling you different on social media all the time. Everybody's trying to compete, and just remember, what Rich Sanchez we talked about earlier. Just people at the bottom compete, and people at the top collaborate. So even with this competition, sit there and collaborate with your high school buddies. You guys all put in, and you'll be at the top. So I appreciate you though, Mike. And
Yes, sir.
if anybody has any questions about, like I said earlier, any questions about this giveaway, any questions about how to get entered, reach out to either one of us. We'll get you set in the right direction. And yes, please share this all over, and let's make some kids' lives. Let's make their lives better, right? So I appreciate you, Mike. Keep killing it, man, and stay safe.
Hey, thank you. It's always an honor to be here, bro. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in.